Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Hey, what's going on? This is your boy, Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
And this is the Viewers Anonymous podcast. What's going on with you, bro? Happy New Year, man.
Man, Happy New Year to you, man. Hey, boy, this is a special episode for two reasons, man. Two reasons, man.
Yes,
I'm excited about this one. I hope the fans like it.
We got a special guest today, you know what I'm saying, for the first episode of 2021. And on top of that, man, this is our anniversary, bro. We done did this joint for a year, man. How you feeling, bro?
Hey, it's been a hell of a ride, man. Like I always bring this up, the fact that we took our hiatus, but man, like now that we rolling, like I feel like this year is gonna be a whole lot better than 2020. I'm excited about this podcast. We got some new things going with this podcast, man, and I'm just really excited, man.
Yeah, man, me too. You know what I'm saying? This has been a hell of a ride. You know what I'm saying? We've come a long way. It's been getting better and better since we've been doing this, and I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I don't want to do it with nobody else, man. You're the perfect person, you know what I'm saying, to be in the other seat on this joint, man. And I appreciate you for being here, bro.
Hey, man, likewise, man.
You already know.
The feeling is mutual.
Of course, man. So without further ado, man, let's bring in our guest. This guy is, I'll let you introduce him, you know what I'm saying, because you introduced him to me, so I'll let you introduce him.
Okay. Hey, man, this is a dude, man. We go way back. You know what I'm saying? We went to high school together. He started his podcast thing, and he's doing it big up in Philadelphia now, man. He's from the Culture Connoisseur podcast, and we're bringing in Jamar Dean to the Viewers Anonymous podcast, man. I'm excited about having him on. He's been on the Stolen Time podcast, you know what I'm saying? And I've been on his podcast. So, man, we just got this podcast relationship, but also, you know what I'm saying, a friendship that ain't got nothing to do with the podcast, man. So we got Jamar up in this building with us, man. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm blessed, man. Happy 2021. I'm sorry, happy 2021.
All right, man. Hey. Don't go back.
Happy 2021, brother.
Let's get
it.
And
before we get into it, man, like, Scoots was just saying that, you know what I'm saying, we it's in 2021 now, man. So happy New Year to you. We haven't said it on the podcast, but this is why I was trying to tell you earlier. This is actually the anniversary episode. This is 1 year anniversary of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, man. And you the first guest, and you on that first episode of the year. Well, of the first year, so we hoping everybody.
I'm honored, bro. Like y'all didn't tell me this, so I should have dressed better. Like I feel like I need like. Hey,
I got on my work shirt right now.
Yeah, I should have dressed better. I feel like I'm underdressed. I'm in Philly, and I feel like I should have my Aki out and stuff, but I'm really just like I'm just low key.
You can't have the Aki out, man. You can't have the Aki out.
Yeah, man. Like, hey, and also, man, while we got you on, I just want to say on this podcast, man, I appreciate everything you do, Jamar. Also, man, what we on right now, this is something you introduced me to. You know what I'm saying? Introduced it to Scoots, and this is going to be, like, we done, Scoots, like maybe 2 visual, and then we just went straight audio.
We did like 2 or 3, and it did not work.
Yeah,
out
it was like
we wanted it to.
Exactly. So, man, you introduced us to the StreamYard.
Yep.
So this is going to be the first StreamYard visual that people going to have on YouTube, man. So I got to thank you for that, man.
Yeah, it's all thanks to you, man.
Hey, man, y'all, the thing about it is I try to tell a lot of people, wherever I'm at, man, this dude, Tony Cotillo, really put me on, man. He work at Fox Sports. And he put me on. He was like, man, listen, you can do all this stuff. And I felt like it was only necessary to pay it forward to my OG. You know what I'm saying? Sean, my OG. So anything I can pay forward, You know what I'm saying? I pay it forward, man. And Scoots, I appreciate you having me on too, man. I just met you, but you're a solid dude, man. 100%.
Man, for sure, man. Listen, if this guy gives you, you know what I'm saying, the gratitude and the word, man, I follow it, man. Like you said, he got it, man.
All right, so that's what we're doing this year. All right, now look.
Hey, man,
now,
we got to give you flowers, man. We got to give you flowers.
I'm letting y'all know it. Hey, if I get a big head, man, it's because of y'all. I'm telling you.
Hey,
I've been trying to stay humble around here.
Get it, bro?
Yeah,
that's what's up, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
This episode, man, you know what I'm saying, it's very, very special because, you know what I'm saying, like we said, this is the first episode of 2021. This is the first episode we got a guest. It's our year anniversary. And we're doing a very special franchise this time, man. This is one that actually inspired a lot of people. It was inspired by somebody special. Well, they say it was somebody special, but you know what I'm saying? This is a movie that really put a bunch of people in the seats to, you know what I'm saying, turn their lives around. It's been motivation for a lot of people. We talk about the Rocky franchise, man. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the whole Rocky franchise. Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Creed 1, Creed 2. We doing all that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? We bringing it in. We're going to talk about Rocky today. How you feel about this, man? Y'all ready?
Let's get it.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, no. All time. So, I know y'all seen, hold on, is it Delirious or Raw? I think it was Delirious when Eddie Murphy said that when motherfuckers came outside that Rocky movie,
man,
he was like,
Rocco! Yeah.
Man, Rocco!
Yeah, that's that joint, bro.
Hey, that was hilarious, boy. I'm trying to tell you, boy, in the way he was walking with that joint, that shit was funny as hell. That shit was funny, man.
So before we start, man, I got to tell like a real quick story.
What's up?
I'm in Philly. I'm in Philly. So I just started for my New Year's resolution. I said, I'm going to get back in shape. So I said, you know what? There's no better Philly way to work out than to join a boxing. Dude, I know nothing about boxing. I'm about 220 and I'm about 6'1", 6'2". So, dude, I go in the gym. Dude, wanna spar. Like, I've been boxing for real. But I thought I was gonna have a shiner when I came in here, bro. Dude hit me so hard yesterday. Like, I legitimately thought I was gonna like die. Like, I was like, bro, I'm done. I quit. I'm already done.
Did you have a headgear on?
I'm already done. Huh?
You had a headgear on?
Yeah, but the dude knocked me in the, I'm talking about, I had a headache till like 5 minutes ago from yesterday.
Anytime you gotta put the headgear on, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you. This is what they do. This is how they sucker you in, right? So I know a few people who box. You know what I'm saying? I know a few people who grew up in the actual Golden Gloves, and they tell you like whenever you got to do the headgear don't help you because it ruins your sight. It ruins your vision. So you know what I'm saying? Like if they swinging on you a certain way, you might not be able to see the punch coming. You can't do nothing but take that punch because you can't see out, you know what I'm saying, out the side of the headgear. So whenever you got to do the headgear, don't do it. Just decline and just do a regular sport. Don't do no headgear.
Oh, I retired. I'm already retired. Yeah, I got my money back from my membership and all that. I'm retired. Like I'm not.
With you. Ain't nothing wrong with it, man. You can always box at home.
Yeah, I'm not Adonis, bro. I'm good. I'm okay. Like
That's good. That's good.
Shit,
so,
hey. Speaking of Adonis, yo, like, did y'all see the video when Michael B. Jordan was training with the dude where he was trying to learn the punches and like he had fucked up and got hit in the face and got knocked out for real? Yo.
Man, cool. Cool.
Yeah,
listen,
I'm cool on that.
Ain't no movie worth it that much to be getting knocked out over.
Nah.
I think that's one of those scripts you could have passed over.
Oh man, see, there you go, man. We ain't got there yet, man. We ain't got there yet, man.
All right, how y'all want to start this thing?
Number one, man. Let's start at the beginning.
All right, man. All right, so basically, you know what I'm saying? Apollo Creed is the man. Rocky's the challenger. Like, we ain't gonna get into all the love story, backstory, all that type shit. So basically, he fighted Apollo Creed, and he ended up ended up being a draw. And so then they had to, both of them ended up getting carried out to the hospital because when they both knocked each other out at the same damn time. And so then they hit the ground and all that type shit. So like my whole thing with Apollo Creed is obviously it's great that when you think of somebody like Rocky to be able to, because I don't know which one he actually started being a producer on, but like for him to bring in Apollo Creed, I thought that was cool to bring in Carl Weathers because, this movie, because when you think about movies, this first one came out in 1976. This shit could have been completely whitewashed. But for him to bring him in, I thought that shit was really good. Now, did he have that whole little thing of, I mean, you know how they kind of portray us sometimes as, the cocky guy and all that type shit. But then at the same time, I think with boxing, you got to be able to sell a fight because boxing is really a show before the fight. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have too much of a problem with, Apollo Creed being like as flamboyant as he was, because when you think about Muhammad Ali, like, would he be, if he didn't do the whole, like, forget the whole little social justice stuff that he did. I think a lot of the stuff before that even happened that got him, for people to pay attention to him was the fact that he was so flamboyant and so, exuberant and all that type shit. So I thought that was a good twist to put on somebody like Apollo Creed.
Okay. The original story of Rocky I heard, I'm not sure if it's true, was about a boxer in real life who actually got a punch off on Muhammad Ali. That's really supposed to be the story of the first Rocky. It's supposed to be that Muhammad Ali was fighting I guess they considered him a tomato can in the boxing world, and he actually got a punch off on Muhammad Ali because I guess at the time Muhammad Ali was just one of them dudes who just couldn't punch. And I guess they made this whole franchise based off of this one guy who just so happened to get a lucky punch off on Ali. Rocky is, to me, one of those. I don't understand how they pulled this off. He seems like the most mediocre boxer in the world. The first movie is him fighting for a moral victory. He gets beat up by Apollo Creed in the movie. You know what I'm saying? We see him sparring. We thinking that he going to do all this stuff. We see him training. I had a tiger come on. We all excited. He running up and down stairs. He punching me in somebody's shop. I don't know why, but I guess that's supposed to help. And then boom, out of nowhere, next thing you know, it's a wrap. Apollo Creed beats him down. And this is the first Rocky. You know what I'm saying? 76, we think that this the Italian Stallion guy is going to come in, save the world, but he doesn't. The big black guy whoops his ass in the first one. And I'm one of the ones who just I don't get it. I don't understand the fascination with Rocky. How you feeling, Jamar?
All right, so this is a heavy. I got a lot to unpack. So being in Philly before I'd already seen Rocky. I already knew about Rocky. I grew up watching Rocky, and the person that's actually based on is a guy named Chuck Wepner.
Yeah,
and he's from New York. So the funny thing about it is everybody associates Rocky with Philly, even though the guy's actually from New York. The Italian Stallion makes sense for Philadelphia because there's a heavy Italian presence in Philadelphia. And on top of that, there's a big boxing presence in Philadelphia. It's one of the biggest boxing meccas in the world. So it makes sense to associate the two. I think what appeals to people when you talk about Rocky and you talk about the franchise and why people love it is because it's the poor guy. It's the guy that really don't have nothing. It's like rags to riches in a sense because he's a nobody until he has this fight. And still, because you don't really see his background. You don't see all the stuff he did to get to that point. You see him still doing meat, hitting meat, run up and down step. He doesn't have a whole lot. So he's not the flashy guy, but he gets beat by the flashy guy. And what's crazy about it is in our real life, a lot of times we're always told that the underdog always wins. And in that first one, he don't. he actually get beat pretty good. So, it draws you in a certain type of way. It's instead of it being that rags to riches, good feel story, it's almost like, dang, is he gonna get back up? Is he gonna fight again? So it draws you in. So I understand why the directors and why the producers of the movie did that, because it not only wants you to makes you want to see, okay, is there another Rocky? What happens with Rocky? Does he stop fighting? Like, what happens? So then you get sucked into the franchise. So it brings you the movie too.
Yeah,
Man,
and then
this might be the best one.
you think so? Because like this was the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And the
It
rematch,
might be the best one.
like the rematch, like for Apollo Creed to lose, like he didn't just lose the fight. You know, the crazy thing about Rocky is Rocky ain't ending lives, man. If you think about it, like he ended careers, because when you think about, like, once we get a little further on into the series, like what we found out, what ended up happening to Apollo Creed, especially, like, we'll get there when we get to not six, but when we get to 3. But when I like that about number 1, that he didn't win, because you always get the story of the guy winning. And also, I like to see that, because what was so genius about the first one, and then Sylvester Stallone did right Rocky 1. So I think the rags to riches story is very prevalent, because that's how the dudes end up boxing in the first place, especially in those times. Like they can't, like the only way to really get up, like if they're not good at football or basketball or whatever, it's like a lot of those poor enfranchised people that ended up getting into boxing, and that's what Rocky did. Rocky wasn't, he ended up meeting Adrian. He didn't really have shit and all of this type of stuff. So I think that to take that movie and do it that way, I think for him to lose, that gives you the intrigue to give you number 2. Because what's really starting off, what's the point of giving you a part 2 if you want? To be honest, like, I don't think people would be clobbering to go see it.
I see. I understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I think that with him losing in that first one, it kind of, like you said, it gives that rags to riches story, that underdog story, and we all know that everybody loves the underdog. Nobody wants to root for the guy that's already on top. But what we don't realize is that this is really setting up a story for the ages, because this is not just a story about him becoming the underdog in boxing. This is also him being the underdog in love, because he's actually following Adrian around. So this is actually becoming a love story more so than it is actually becoming a boxing story. And so what we end up doing is we end up seeing Rocky becoming this major figure in the boxing realm, but we also see that he's still like kind of in a rock and a hard place in his love life. And now we trying to, we get to see the dynamic between him and Adrian a lot more, and we don't really get to see, the whole boxing. I don't think it focuses more so on the boxing thing than it does more so on the relationship between him and Adrian. That's just my take.
So and I'm gonna take us a different route, because I think we're all kind of going in our own routes, and I like it. I think I also kind of catch the kind of the feeling of, I don't know if you guys remember the Great White Hype or the Great White Hope, when the dude basically. So it has a lot of undertones of that too as well, because it's like these guys that, they're basically pent to be enemies. You know what I'm saying? They're painting them to be like kind of enemies. And, if you look at the video, you look at the movie, Apollo's got his side, and it's not only like the hood, the black guys over here, and he's got the white guys that could challenge him, that could possibly take his crown or whatever. And you see the kind of the conflict there, but something else emerges, which we'll talk about later on in the movies, that you don't see coming. Like never, like in the movie, as the movie goes on, you're like, man, these guys hate each other. But really, there's more of a respect that is building there, and that's kind of like another part of the story that it kind of takes you to. It's like, dang, like, these dudes should hate each other. Like, this is the white versus the black. But really, in all honesty, we looking at it this way, and the director's pushing us to look at it a different way. So I love that part of it. Like it hitting you from all these different angles. Like it's pulling at your heartstrings first of all, and then it's also showing you your own humanity in the movie. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the wild part is there was another director for the first one. Sylvester Stallone directed, wrote, and starred in this one. So if you think about it, like he really started a whole different little trend. Like this is like a new thing that a lot of people are trying to do like in the last couple of decades. Like people wasn't really doing this in the 70s. Trying to take on all three roles, like that shit is a lot. And like a lot of people make fun of Sylvester Stallone about the way he talks and all that type of shit like that. But like, I mean, I didn't know this until just now. Like, dude, like I got a whole new respect for this dude. Like I thought that he was doing this the last couple of years. I didn't know he wrote Rocky 2. You know what I'm saying? And directed it. So that gives me a whole new different respect for him. And also, like, that also tells us, like, this whole Apollo Creed character, to what I was saying earlier, to have Carl Weathers be that guy. And like you said, Jamal, with the whole thing of them building, like, this friendship, even though there's, like, this, they're trying to create this divide, but these dudes actually become, like, really, really good friends. And also we get a little bit more of Apollo Creed's story and his training and stuff in Rocky 2 as well, because they just focused on Rocky in the beginning. But like you said, Scoots, with the adding the different storylines as far as him chasing Adrian, trying to get Adrian's attention, him trying to start this boxing career, and him trying to, you know what I'm saying, become the heavyweight champion of the world and all that type stuff. So for Sylvester Stallone to write, direct, and star in this, dude, I just gained a whole different respect for him.
Man, listen, this is one of those things to where later on down the line you find out that Stallone was the guy behind all of it, and you know what I'm saying, you kind of not surprised about the story of it, you kind of not surprised about the outcome of it all. It's perfect that Stallone was the guy behind everything, because now we understand why Rocky wins in this second one, why he wins the way he does in this second one, because we actually get the actor's perspective instead of getting the director's or a producer's perspective from it. So we actually can see why Rocky would be able to get up in that last minute and then be able to win over, you know what I'm saying, over Creed or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying, it makes the movie that much better. And then what it does is it builds up to my favorite Rocky, the greatest Rocky of all time to me, number 3, right? So we get to see my guy, the most intimidating man on the planet, the one who's not to be messed with, Mr. T. And this dude brings in so much. He brings in so much swag in this movie. It was at one point in time, my favorite scene in this movie, they standing there and they talking, and then he says, "Hey, I want to fight you, Rocky Balboa." And then he was like, the trainer was like, "Nah." Mickey said, "Nah, we don't want to fight you. You a bum." And he was like, "Nah, forget that, old man. I ain't talking to you." He said, "I'm talking to you, Rocky. I want to fight you." And then Rocky was like, "Well, maybe, if you're next in line," or whatever Rocky said. And then, you know what I'm saying, Adrian step up. And then Mr. T was like, "Hey, don't you want to be with a real man? Somebody who can keep you warm, keep you close, give you that thing that's looking for." And then, you know what I'm saying, it was on and popping from there. It was on and popping from there. Mr. T hit on this man's wife in public, you know what I'm saying, without a care in the world, man. And then I just found out the story about this whole movie too, which also continues to make this my favorite Rocky. This is the start between Sylvester Stallone and Mr. T's beef in real life, is this movie. So this is why this is my all-time favorite Rocky movie. And so much that goes on here.
So the crazy part about this, as soon as you said I couldn't do nothing but laugh, I had to turn my face, man. Because if like anybody that knows any type of pop culture reference, if you've been around, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know the type of cultural reference that, you know, Mr. T has and Clubber Lang in general. He didn't really change his appearance to do it. Like, he was still 18 Mr. T. So it's not like you have to. You're not looking at a dude that you don't know who he is. He didn't change his personality at all, and I don't think really at the end of the day, I don't think he would have. He wouldn't have cut his hair. He wouldn't have cut his mohawk. He would have been who he was. And this is kind of a part of it that I think people don't really get. If you played video games back in the day, if you ever had a video game that had a black dude with a mohawk that was boxing or fighting, you automatically thought he was Clubber Lang, even if they didn't call him that. So in my mind, anytime I think about his role in the movie, it's necessary. He's a necessary evil that he has to go through. He's that guy when you're dating a girl, the opposing. He's that opposing guy. The guy when I don't know if y'all remember when y'all used to go to the club, because I'm not that far removed, but when I used to go to the club, I'll go with my girl, and if I would hold my girl hand, and if any time my girl would walk away from me and start talking to some dude, I'm already on the defensive. But just imagine now you in the club, some dude come to you, say, don't you want to get up under some of these warm arms? And you don't buck up and do something?
Oh, man.
Like, it challenges our manhood at the core. So I know what Sylvester Stallone was doing, because now as a man and as a father and a husband now, I know what I do. I have to put pause on him, dog, like straight up. So he's a necessary evil.
But it's
for
Mr.
the
T,
movie.
man.
Yeah, he's a necessary evil.
But it's Mr. T. You gonna put pause on Mr. T?
I mean, I gotta be real about mine. If I get knocked out, I'm gonna get knocked out in her honor. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it.
Nah, man. Hey, Mr. T can have her. I'm not fighting Mr. T, bro. I'm not fighting Mr. T, bro. 20 gold chains in that feather earring, bro. He got it.
He's the first Lawrence Taylor, dog. Before Lawrence Taylor was Lawrence Taylor.
Fact.
Yeah, that's where Lawrence Taylor got that shit from.
That's a fact.
What I like.
Yeah.
I like 3. I like 3. The thing about 3 is, like, this is when Rocky life started to change. You know what I'm saying? This is when Rocky started really making money and started doing stupid shit, like doing a celebrity fight with Hulk Hogan and all this type of shit. And so this one, like, it brought out, it gave you that whole thing of, like, this is what real boxers deal with. Like, you start from the bottom, you know what I'm saying? You start making some bread, and then you start doing dumb shit for money. And then also, what ended up happening was when he took the fight, this dude knew he could not beat Clubber Lang the way that he fought Apollo. Because, see, Apollo wasn't a bruiser. You know what I'm saying? Apollo was more a finesse type of fighter. Clubber Lang was just like, well, he was basically Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson. So they were like, yo, you can't go into this fighting like the way that you normally fight. So what do? He goes to Apollo Creed, and Apollo trains him like a black guy. So we see, like, this whole transformation of, like, and this is why I've always been a fan of Sylvester Stallone, because, like, I'm not trying to make this, like, you know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is for him to bring in the Mr. T, also bring back Apollo Creed and Apollo Creed's trainer. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's, like, really helping. I don't want to call it helping out the black community, because I'm pretty sure these people earned their spot. But I'm just saying, like, for him to bring in these people and reoccurring people, like, he's sending out checks. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I like the way that he knew that, like, yo, I cannot beat this dude. And it showed you that climb. Like, that's when I think that this is when Eye of the Tiger really took over, was in part 3. Because that getting stronger part, like, you seen him getting better and better and better. Like, you can see that Apollo Creed was a whole way better athlete. He was a whole lot better of a boxer. So he had to go to him and train him the way that he would train him. And it's so funny, like, watching, like Rocky's, like, what's Rocky man name? Adrian's brother. He would always fuck with him. And, like, man, he was saying, oh, you can't train him like that. He was like, Rocky ain't got the rhythm. Like, that shit was so fucking funny, man. When he said Rocky ain't got the rhythm, hey, and that shit was so true, because he did not have the rhythm, but that shit was hilarious, man.
No lies detected.
Oh, man. But, yeah, that's what I like. That's what I liked it about 3 the best, was the fact that Rocky knew he had to switch up. And then he went back to Apollo Creed, and that showed you that friendship that they had. And I think that once we get farther down the list, we'll also understand why the other part of Rocky took place.
Yeah,
Big
man.
fan.
This Rocky is so dope to me because I heard this story on another podcast about how Mr. T got mad at Sylvester Stallone because he was supposed to win in the movie overall. It was never supposed to be a rematch to where he get beat. None of that. He was supposed to flat out win, like how Apollo Creed did in the first one. And then they were supposed to make another one where Clubber Lang comes back and then he loses to Rocky. But they didn't want to go that route for Rocky. What is it, Rocky 4? They didn't want to go that route. So what ends up happening is, you know what I'm saying, you get the rematch between Clubber Lang and Rocky in the third one, and then, you know, we got to go through it all over again twice. So what ends up happening is Mr. T tells Sylvester Stallone, we'll never work it after this. We'll never work again, ever again. I don't care how much money you give me, none of that. We'll never do it again. And he basically stuck by his word. So later on down the line, Sylvester Stallone also creates the Expendables. And he calls Mr. T. He said, "Hey, man, I got a role for you in the Expendables. I want you to be in there." And he was like, "Not until we do another Rocky where I win." Well, Sylvester Stallone was like, "That shit over with." So, boom, they go to the next one. And then Expendables 2 pop up. And then he called Mr. T again. "Hey, man, listen, I really want you to be in this Expendables." And he said, "Man, you already know my terms and conditions." And he was like, "Well, fuck it." And so Creed 3 is coming out. And the rumor around Creed 3 is that since he already fought Drago's son, he's supposed to fight Clubber Lang's son next. But they still trying to get Mr. T into the movie. So we don't know if Mr. T gonna be in Creed 3 or not, but supposedly the storyline is he fighting the son or the trainee of Clubber Lang. So we'll see. We don't know yet, but that's supposed to be the actual story. But it's so dope because Mr. T is literally telling this man, if you don't make this movie to where I win, I'm not doing it. So we might see Clubber Lang knock out Rocky in the new Creed 3. We'll see. I don't know. But if he in it, I'm assuming he's gonna knock Rocky out.
Man, do you really want to see that elderly fight, bro? Like, I don't want to see.
Yes,
like, I'm gonna be
do.
real. Sylvester Stallone damn near be taken. I don't want to see him fight nobody. And it's kind of and if you do get knocked out, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I know you want to see it. I get it. Everybody wants to see somebody elderly get knocked out. It'll be funny, you know, whatever. But in all reality, this movie right here, man, like 3, to me, is, like I said, was a necessary evil. It had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like we get the perfect setup for 4. You know, for Rocky.
Oh, hold on.
Oh yes.
Before we get to 4, we gotta also mention the movie ended with Rocky and Creed fighting, and it paused before they hit each other. So we still don't know the outcome of that fight to this day. Of the third fight between Apollo and Creed.
The greatest sparring match that never was.
Yeah, like, dude, that was the Dream Team game. You know the Dream Team game they keep telling us about? Yeah. That's what that was.
Yeah.
It's
Things of legend, baby. Things of legend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so listen. Do you guys watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Okay, so do you remember the one fight where Frank was supposed to fight the one dude from the boxing gym? That's what I envision this Mr. T Rocky fight. It's supposed to be like in Creed 3. Is when Frank Reynolds went back to the gym to fight, I forgot what dude's name was, but they called him Frankie trash bags and trash cans or some shit like that. Frank wasn't having it, and he juiced D up so she could fight he juiced D up so he could fight the other dude's daughter. This is what I expect the new Rocky to be like. The new Creed, to be like. Him and Mr. T and Rocky are gonna go at it in the boxing ring. They're gonna spar it out. Mr. T is gonna take that shit serious and really knock Rocky out. Creed is gonna get mad. He's gonna be like, "Hey, you can't do my uncle like that." Then Rocky is gonna get cancer. He gonna die, and then Mr. T gonna feel sorry for knocking him out. Oh, this is all real. This is how I see it. Rocky is he gonna die of cancer because they gotta kill him off eventually because he been dying of cancer for the last 5 movies. And then Mr. T gonna feel bad for knocking him out. And then he gonna be on both of their side because it makes sense they both gonna be black. So he gonna be on both of their side in the at the end of the fight, and then Creed is gonna win, but they gonna shake hands and everything at the end, and then they gonna be teammates somehow.
But you got that whole you know what? I love that you did that because I be having my own scripts in my own head too of how I want shit to go. But
saying it makes sense.
But the thing is, he's already. This is the thing. I think you can't do it too many times because the problem is you already got Apollo's offspring, right? Now he's using what's my man name? Duke. Duke's son is his trainer now in Creed. Yep. So it's like then you bring Drago back, so Drago got a son, and now you're gonna do a Clobber Lane's son, and now he's gonna be working with Duke's dad and Clobber Lane's dad. Like it's just that's just a little bit too much.
I don't know if they're gonna be working together. I don't know if they're gonna be working together, but he gonna be cheering for both of them. He gonna do something like a little interview before the fight, like whoever wins it's a win for us or something like that. I don't know. They're gonna find a way to tie it into Black Lives Matter. I don't know. It's gonna be a social justice movie. Just wait and see.
Oh man,
I'm trying to tell you, man.
I can't even do it with y'all boys. Y'all wilding, man.
YC. YC. I'm telling y'all.
You gonna have the BLM on his trunk?
Yeah.
With the fist? Okay.
He gonna have a fist on he gonna have the fist on the trunk or on the top of the gloves. Watch and see.
Hey boy, you was wild. You was wild.
Bro, if this really happens, I'm never watching
It's gonna be some riots in Philly.
If this happens, I'm never watching another movie with you. I don't ever want to talk to you again about a movie. If you would ruin it for me like that you would know have some type of inside information and support it for everybody, I would never speak to you again.
I have no inside information. I just assume that it's gonna be some kind of social justice thing. They're gonna have like a riot breakout in Philadelphia. I don't know. We might even see Gillian Wallow. Who knows? I'm just saying, man. Just know that something is gonna happen to where they're gonna bring some type of social justice initiative into this movie. They're gonna have Mr. T shaking both of their hands, saying "May the best man win," and he's gonna be happy for both of them because Rocky died.
Oh man, that's hurtful. I hope that don't happen because I like Rocky.
I know, man. Because man, I don't know if you remember Creed 2, man. Rocky got rid of the cancer, man. He ain't got cancer no more, man. You know, gave him cancer and everything.
They want
I'm just
Rocky
saying,
trying to
man.
see Adrian. Rocky trying to get Adrian even in death, boy. He'd take cancer, don't even want to get treated so he can go see his baby. He don't care.
And that's what I'm saying. We ain't even heard from Rocky's son. Remember that.
Yeah, we have.
Rocky's son
we gonna get there. Yeah, we'll get there. We jumping too far. So,
okay.
But I'm gonna remember that. So the thing before when 4 comes, Rocky's supposed to be. That's the thing. How many fucking? Do anybody know how many times Rocky retired? Because I remember Rocky retired maybe 8 damn times, and then he got pulled out of damn retirement. So 3. So he ended up retiring 3 times. So he retired this time around. And what ended up happening was, so this dude that they hear about over in Russia is supposed to be the next best thing. And Apollo Creed is like, yo, we're going to do an exhibition match. You know what I'm saying? So he's taking it lightly. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's dancing around. He got a little hat on his head, man, and he dancing around, and he thinking this shit going to be a joke. And Drago took this shit serious. And then we get the all-time meme. Like, everybody want to talk about motherfucking Jordan crying face. Fuck that. Throw the damn towel. It's the all-time meme, but when he said, throw the damn towel. And, man, he went and throw that towel. Drago beat my man to death. And y'all was supposed to be laughing, man. This is the death of Apollo Creed. Man, he died, man. He died. And so this motherfucker died.
Oh, shit. Yo.
So,
Hey,
Y'all are some sick individuals.
Yes, that's true.
Hey,
Listen, not only did this give us the throw in the towel meme, this also gave us the outline for Nate Robinson when he fell on the canvas. You know what I'm saying? This is so foretelling. This is so foretelling.
Hey man, everybody not a boxer, man. I just told y'all my story.
Hey,
everybody
man.
not a boxer.
Oh my goodness! Listen, Nate should have took some advice, but this is so foretelling. You know what I'm saying? We see this. You know what I'm saying? This young, well, not young, but this sprout, charismatic Apollo Creed. You know what I'm saying? He excited. He ready to show his skills. He thinking that he about to go out here, put on the show for the people, represent for America. This is where my beef with Rocky, the Rocky franchise, comes into play. I loved Rocky 3. Rocky 4 is when I started hating Rocky, right? So Rocky 3 had my man Mr. T in it. I was a huge Mr. T fan. I had the Mr. T album. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Mr. T came out with his rap solo single. You know what I'm saying? Mother, there is no other. Treat your mama right. You know what I'm saying? He was rapping at the playground with the kids. I was like, man, Mr. T. You know what I'm saying? He was wrestling. This is the greatest person to ever put into a movie. And then they put my other favorite guy in here, but they made him a bad guy. And this is when I hated it. They put Dolph Lundgren in here. And I used to love Dolph Lundgren because he was He-Man. He was my favorite superhero ever. He-Man was the greatest superhero of all superheroes. And then they made Dolph Lundgren a bad Russian dude. And I was like, why did they do this to Dolph Lundgren? But not only did they do that to Dolph Lundgren, they made Dolph Lundgren whoop on Apollo Creed. And he whooped on him bad. He whooped him something bad. It was disgusting. You know what I'm saying? He told that man after his whooping, if he dies, he dies.
He dies.
How do you tell another man that? How do you tell him? He said, I must break him. You know what I'm saying? They made my man Dolph Lundgren not speak proper English and destroy shit. And I was like, oh man, this is all bad. And so
what is wrong with y'all, man?
And so, you know what I'm saying? Dolph Lundgren came in, you know what I'm saying? This is at the height of, and S-Dot, bro, you already know how I feel about this. This is at the height of America and Russia racing to get to the moon. We already know that America didn't get to the moon. So to knock that whole fable down, they took Dolph Lundgren and made him Russia, and he knocked the shit out of America. And what was even so sad about it was they made the black dude die, right? The black dude got his ass whooped, but then the white man comes save the day as America. What type of shit is that? After all the shit we done been through, you know what I'm saying? We got to lose the Russia, and then the white man go come save it. I'm sick of it. This is where this is the end for me, man.
All right, man. I gotta say
this is where I start my beat.
I gotta say the pod, bro. The pod about to go real south real quick. I gotta say it. It's all on me now. Why you put me in this position? All right. So I'm gonna get historical with y'all for a minute. All right, so like you said, yes, it was in the height of the race to the moon. Yes, Dolph Lundgren was He-Man. Am I happy that Apollo Creed had to die? No, but he had to die because of the arc of Rocky. It had nothing to do with Apollo Creed. It was because the arc of Rocky. He had to show his sense of, because Rocky has to go through a lot in these movies. You have to see his morality, because if you don't see his humanity, it makes him almost like a superhero. And in most superhero movies,
right,
we don't see them really go through any type of loss other than normally in like Disney movies we see like the like their parents die normally, which is really actually kind of morbid, but whatever. Like we see they lose a parent, but in this case, you watch Rocky be responsible for the reason that Apollo Creed dies, because he doesn't want to throw in the towel, and that becomes a part of his arc later on for the rest of the movies, is that he's fighting his own demons, regardless if it's Apollo Creed's death that he has to hold on to, and he has to deal with Felicia Rashad, which is also an issue, but we'll neither here nor there. But there's different layers to this cake. It's like an onion. We got to keep peeling it back. The fact that he goes and beats Dolph Lundgren in his friend's honor is not him saving anybody from the big bad wolf. It's him getting his get back for him killing his friend. And I know you don't like to hear that, but it will be no different than them boys in the hood when they shoot my dog. You know what I'm talking about, Ricky. When they,
Man,
you know what I'm saying, and they go get that get back.
Not the same.
And I know you say that's the same, but it's the same because at any time it is. When they go ride back around the corner and they go shoot at my boy, they like, you know what I'm saying, they trying to get that get back. This is nothing but vengeance and him getting back. If they kill Rocky, the movie's over. Like it's it. There's nothing left.
We know in the future that that's not true, because what they could have did if they were smart, they could have went ahead and said, "Hey, Mr. T, we got something for you," and then they could have just went ahead and put Mr. T in Rocky's space. You know what I'm saying? Mr. T and Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang and Apollo Creed could have teamed up. They could have been the greatest black duo in all the boxing. But no,
the movie's called Rocky.
They wanted Apollo Creed to die.
The movie's called Rocky. It's not
called Creed
Apollo.
now. It's called Creed now.
Yeah, but that's see, you jumping too far. You jumping too far, man. Like, we'll get that. Look, Schools, we'll get that when we get that. I see both of y'all points. And also, like I was saying earlier, you didn't even bring this up, Schools. The fact of Rocky ruined Apollo Creed's life because Apollo wasn't the champ no more. So this fight never even would have came up if he wasn't champ anymore. Because remember, it was an exhibition fight. It wasn't even a real fight. And Rocky was telling him, "Yo, don't fight this dude." And he was like, "Rocky, you don't understand. I have to fight him." He was like, basically, I have to fight him for my manhood type of thing. So he really put himself in that spot. And then Rocky has to deal with this same conversation once we get down the road when we get there. So I see what Jamar is saying because he's having to deal with these different adversities. And, like, if you don't put this, because he's already got to deal with the adversity, he's not a great boxer. Like, he gets, if Rocky don't, this is the thing with Rocky, if he don't knock these people out, he don't win any fight. Rocky takes more hits than anybody.
That's true.
So he's not a great boxer at all. So the whole thing of it is him battling through adversity. So you have to add something to his life. And Rocky, well, Sylvester Stallone makes up for it once we get there. But I think that he also puts himself in these impossible fights where he's not supposed to win. But I also like the fact that he beat Drago for the simple fact of, like, that was comparing this dude to like a robot. They were saying that he wasn't even human. So, like, the whole thing of, like, him not really fighting anybody where it's like a match. Because the thing with Drago is, Drago was Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson. He didn't have long fights. Like, everything was quick. Everything was knockouts in the first round. So when he had to go 12 rounds, Drago started to break down. Why you shaking your head, man? What am I saying wrong?
Man, listen. I'm not gonna let you disrespect the great Mike Tyson by putting Ivan Drago next to him. Listen, you know what I'm saying? I said everything for parody, of course, in the beginning, but I don't know. So let's put it down to brass tacks, man. It was necessary for Rocky to beat Ivan Drago because at the time, like I said, man, we had the race between America and Russia about the, you know what I'm saying, the moon landing, getting to the moon first, getting in space first. And, you know what I'm saying, we had movies like Red Dawn. We had, I don't know, what's some other movies? We had a whole bunch of movies where we was battling with Russia, and Russia was supposed to be the big bad guy during the 80s, right? So we know why Rocky had to beat Ivan Drago. The reason I was happy that Rocky beat Ivan Drago is because it really showed that no matter how many systems they hooked this guy up to, how many steroids they gave this guy, how many times they, you know, measured his punch in the punching machine or whatever they did with him, it really showed that, you know what I'm saying, that inner fight and that inner will always overcomes everything. And it gave a great message in this movie. It showed you that no matter what you're going through, if you put your mind to it and you put that focus towards it, you know, you can really have an amazing outcome. You know what I'm saying? Never give up, never surrender, and you can achieve anything that you want to achieve. And I think that this movie was the pinnacle of that message. We get to see Rocky in one of his first losses in a long history of losses that's coming up in the rest of these movies, and we get to see how he deals with it. You know, we get to see him not necessarily dealing with it the proper way, but actually going into a boxing ring and dealing with it that way. You know, he kind of got his frustrations in a violent manner, and we don't really get to see him take his frustrations out in the proper way of maybe like a therapy or I don't know, some type of rehab or something like that. But we get to, you know, we actually see him fighting for revenge and fighting for vengeance, and this is, you know, a huge example of that. and it's the late 80s too, so you know we don't get to the point of where we have that level of conscience yet. We still are, you know, dealing with bullies and everything like that around this time. So yeah, it was, you know, so like I said, everything in the beginning was parody, but I think that this is necessary, like you guys said, because we really get to see Rocky, you know, overcome a huge obstacle in this one, and it's a necessary obstacle.
Yeah, and even more to that effect, like what you said, I'm gonna be real short on this one because I had the space to say everything, but yeah, like you said, like as men, like we're men, so as men, we try to deal with things like we want to revert back to our kind of like our senses. Our senses want to bring us back to being like really royal I am man. Like, let me hit you with something heavy. Like we always want to go back there, but and at that time frame, that's what we said. Like when we were growing up and as a young bull myself, everybody got to deal with bullies or adversity or the big guy on the block, whoever that is. And if you back away, because Rocky could have never fought him. Rocky could have walked away and never fought Ivan Drago because he really didn't have to fight. But the fact that it was get back, like I said before, and you know, a lot of times as we grow up, like we don't really necessarily approach bullies. Like a lot of people run from their bullies. Like their entire life, they'll run from their bully. They'd be 30-something years old, going to the high school reunion, still scared of that person, or not really. And it's either the bully come up to that person and tell them, "Hey, man, I was a jerk growing up, and I should have never bullied you," or that person in their 30s finally get the balls and hit them or something. But those movies back then, they showed you how to step up and how to be a man. It wasn't, "Oh, I'm gonna get a gun and shoot Ivan Drago." It was, "Hey, we're gonna put these mitts on and we're gonna battle like men." And I think that was the message that I wish it was portrayed more today. Like, I don't need no gun. I got these two hands, and if I get beat, I gotta come back and fight you again. Even when I was a young bull, I got beat up one time. No lie, I got beat up one time. I tried to fight this dude on the bus. He beat me up. My pops got me off the bus. He took me back to the dude's house, knocked on the door. He said, "My son lost the fight to your son." He's like, I brought the boxing gloves. Let them get it in the yard. They don't like each other. Let them fight." And to this day, I'm still friends with that dude. Like, to this day. I mean, he got me again, too, to be honest. Like, I didn't beat him up the second time either. So he got me twice. But that respect for us back in them days was different. Now everybody want to jump straight to shooting. Or, like, I can't beat you up, so I got to shoot you. Like, that's not a thing. Like, what happened to taking an ass cutting? Like, what happened to that? Like, that is a prime example of this movie. Like, he killed his friend, but he didn't go out here and try to get vengeance with a gun. He could have did it that way, but he didn't. He went back in the ring, fought him, and he ended that dude's career. Like, after that, Ivan Drago is no more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. Only you, Sean. I'm off my soapbox.
No, you're right. You're right, man. And that'll push us to this is my second worst one. All right. I've never been a huge fan of 5. It didn't really have anything to do with Tommy guns. It really had the fact of, like, because at the end of that fight, like you got to remember, Rocky was retired. So he came out of retirement to Ivan Drago. So then the people are expecting Rocky to keep fighting. And what do we get? We get the fake Don King in this one. You know what I'm saying? So we get the fake Don King to come with his fighter to try to get Rocky to fight. So Rocky's not going to fight. So then you get Adrian. This is when Adrian is really the most vocal. Because Adrian knew how fucked up Rocky was after that Drago fight. So Adrian is like really like putting no word in. It's like, "No, Rocky, you're done. You retired." All this type of shit. But the one good thing about 5 is the fact of his manager or whatever the dude named screwed him. And Rocky was broke. So Rocky didn't have no money. So Rocky got humbled again. So Rocky had to go. So it shows us Rocky going back to his old neighborhood, going back to wearing his old clothes and all of this shit. And so Rocky tried to take a different approach because he was like, well, I'm not going to box anymore. Adrian won't let me box. So he goes to training, and then Tommy Guns come out of fucking nowhere. And then, so he starts training Tommy. And in the process of training Tommy, this motherfucker forgot he was a father. You know what I'm saying? So then he goes to ignoring his son, which that shit pissed me off, dude. I was so mad because, like, his son was going through his own. You got to understand, like, anytime something traumatic happened in your life and you got kids, your kids are going through that traumatic experience as well. And, like, his son got his coat taken from him. You know what I'm saying? So this son get his coat taken. He starts training, and then he goes back, beats the bully up, get his coat. He just want to say, Dad, I got my coat back. He's so focused on Tommy, he don't even give a fuck. It's like, man, you fucking asshole. That shit had me hot, man. I was mad as hell. I was mad. I was like, man, his son just wanted some attention, man. He wouldn't even give him no attention. And so that shit really had bugged me out. And so that's why I thought Rocky got exactly what he deserved when Tommy Guns went with the fake Don King, because it was like, dude, you totally ignoring your family all of a sudden because you upset that you don't have that lifestyle that you had, you know what I'm saying, the past couple of years. And, like, Rocky didn't handle that shit as well, too. But I will say this, and I'll shut up, the whole fact of this one, what was good about it was this wasn't a boxing match for a belt. This was a straight-out street fight. You know what I'm saying? He fought Tommy Guns in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was good, but I was more pissed off of the life shit than the movie. So I'm a mixed bag with Rocky 5, man.
So for me, this movie kind of changes the relationship / love story aspect, right? So earlier I talked about how Rocky is a love story between him and Adrian. But what we really find out is the love story isn't between Rocky and Adrian, it's between Rocky and boxing. And we kind of, like you kind of stated earlier, we get to see this because he kind of puts boxing ahead of his family. He puts boxing ahead of pretty much everything else, even paying attention to his finances. Because, like you said, we end up finding out that he goes broke, and now he got to move back and restart everything. So this is pretty much the marriage of Rocky and boxing, and how much he loves boxing, and how much he's devoted his life to this instead of, like you said, devoting his life to his wife or his family. And this is when like Mickey dies. We end up seeing the strain between him and his son, and then we try to, at the end, we get to see them bring that back together in a weird kind of way, which was different because it was like he gave him something from Rocky Marciano or something, which I thought was already weird because it was like Rocky and then he getting something from Rocky Marciano. I don't know, but it's just, we get to see that connection, and that it becomes more than just this love affair of man and woman. It becomes this love affair of man and sport, and that's pretty much just where I was at with it.
Man, y'all gonna be too hard to follow, but I think I got something. All right, so and this is to the Don King element of it. All right, so they bring in a fellow kind of similar, playing off the Don King thing. The guy that's the quick talker, the money maker. He can pitch a fight. He's gonna bring you a lot of money and a lot of riches. But at the same time, in that same mouthful, you have to also know the disadvantages of going with that guy. He doesn't really care about you. He's looking for a fight. He's not looking for your best interest. So you can go with this guy, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of like the Kanye song, "When you get on, leave they ass for a white girl." It's kind of like that. it's you get on with Rocky. He trains you, does everything for you, and then once you get to where you're going, you leave him for the nice, shiny, pretty thing. And that's another part of this story, because you giving everything to this person to try to make sure they become something in life and they don't make the same mistakes you do. The whole time you got a kid at home that you're not teaching these same lessons to. He's getting bullied. He's facing other adversities, and you're not there to walk him through that. But the good thing, the saving grace of this movie is the fact of the matter is that his son does find a way to beat the bully. He does find a way to overcome his adversity. But as you can see, apart, like we said before, these Rocky movies are teaching us humanity, and it's teaching us the difference between and this is gonna get deep for me and Sean, and maybe you too, Scoots. It's teaching us what happens when the father isn't in the home. When the father is absent from the home, the children will suffer because there's not that leadership, that guidance in there, that man God in the house that they need to see growing up, or that man king, they need to see that. So when your son, especially for young men, it hits different when your father's not around because you don't have that example. So in this movie, Rocky's a person in the community, people looking up to him in the streets, but at home you lacking. So I think from that humanity standpoint, we get to see that as well. So this movie is bigger. It's not a great boxing movie. This one is about life. This is a good life movie. This 6 or 5 is a great life movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I the reason I said the words because this really explains why him and his son have the relationship that they have. Because I think he was probably 13, 14 years old in this movie, and once you really think about it, you don't really see him no more until really Creed 2, really. You know what I'm saying? Because their relationship was so fucked up, probably because he was so focused on Tommy Guns and trying to get that money back that he, you know what I'm saying, that he forgot he was a father during that process. So, like, Rocky 5, like you said, that was a great example. Like, there was a whole bunch of shit that was going on in 5. And I think that also bringing in the fact of, him losing Mickey was a really good point. Like, he had, like, a whole little flashback because he went to the old gym and when Mickey had gave him this necklace. And that's what you talking about, right, Scoops? Like the necklace that he had got from Mickey. He was like, Mickey said he got it from Rocky Brown. So, and then Mickey gave it to him, and then he gave it to his son. So, like, that's how that whole little thing went. But I still think that, like, this really added this different little quality to the movie because if I'm not mistaken, Adrian didn't die in 5. She had, because, damn. So when did Adrian die then?
6.
Did she die? She died in 6? Okay. I ain't got much on 6.
It's supposed to be before, but it's in the next movie.
Yeah, because, like, I think that the actress died, right? And then they just kind of said that Adrian died. Ain't that what happened?
Oh, I don't know if she died in real life. I don't know if she died in real life.
I'll look it up real quick, man. Go ahead. Keep going. I'll let you know.
Okay. But, like, so Rocky 6, that's Rocky Balboa, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is all I got on this.
This is the one I hate the most.
This is the dumbass movie.
You guys don't have to come to me for this one. I don't have any input on Balboa. I didn't watch it.
I don't either. Dude, this is all I got. He was too fucking old to be fighting, and he's supposed to lose, and he lost. That's it. That's all I got. I seen it like one time, and it was like stupid. It was stupid, dude. Like it was a waste of time. It was a wasted check. Man, his old ass isn't supposed to be fighting, man.
True.
Okay, so fortunately, I watched this movie, right? This is one of the ones that I've seen. This was starring Antonio Tarver right at the height, you know what I'm saying, where Antonio Tarver was the man, you know what I'm saying, he was doing the thing at the time. So it was, you know what I'm saying, like a sign of respect for Stallone to bring him in and let him, you know what I'm saying, play the antagonist in this movie. What I thought was dope in this movie was they used the Fight Night video game to basically simulate who was going to win between Antonio Tarver and Rocky. And they used that in like this ESPN skit or whatever. And basically, that's what started the whole thing between Antonio Tarver's character and Rocky. No, this is where I get the hate in the movie, and this is why I say this is the worst Rocky out of all of them, right? Antonio Tarver's character is named Mason Dixon.
Yeah.
But it don't stop there. It doesn't stop there. His nickname is The Lion. Yeah, that's right. His name is Mason the Lion Dixon. Now, if you are a black person in America and you hear this goddamn name, it should make you furious and angry because why the fuck would you name the black dude Mason Dixon? Who the fuck thought that was gonna be a cool name to be a boxer? Who said, hey, guess what? His nickname should be The Lion. That's pretty dope, man. Who the fuck was in the writing room when this shit came out? This shit was horrible. And then not only do you not let him, you know what I'm saying, come out with a stunning victory, you let old ass 60-year-old Rocky Balboa tie Mason the Lion Dixon. So they came out in a draw. He didn't even beat Rocky's ass. So you mean to tell me that Rocky could beat the Mason Dixon line? Is that what we trying to say? Is that what's going on here? Because I don't know. I'm confused. What kind of subliminal bullshit were they trying to throw at us with this goddamn movie, man?
Oh my God.
This movie was just it was fugazi. They should have never did this. They should have just left that shit where it was. They should have let Rocky like train Antonio Tarver, and he could have just been Antonio Tarver in the movie. I don't know anything besides Mason fucking Dixon, and this movie would have been that much better. It was just this movie was horrible. I can't believe they even put that together.
That's crazy.
We can go to Creed.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Go to Creed.
That's fucking funny. Nah, like, hey, boy, you wild. Yo, like this is my thing with Creed. I thought it was a great idea. Like, I'm glad they was able to do it, but it also shows you like that whole little celebrity thing of these athletes that it's like a thing that's like some people say that this goes along with the business. You know, your man is going to cheat on you, all this type shit. Because the thing is, I didn't know it was going to be this way until you start watching the movie. Then you start like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? So like basically, Felicia Rashad is his wife, and he had this, you know, what's the proper term for it? Bastard child? That's what they call it. So he had this bastard child.
Entanglement is what it's called.
Okay, he had an entanglement. So, and the crazy part is, she's been keeping up with him. Like, she's been from afar, seeing how's he doing, all this type of shit. He was just this kid named Adonis Johnson. He get into a bunch of fights, you know what I'm saying? He stay in trouble and all this type of shit. So she comes, grabs him up, and then basically tells him, like, who he is. Because, like, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot Creed 1. Did he know?
He didn't know.
No, he didn't know. She told him. She told him who his father was. Because she got him out of jail.
Nah, because he said he didn't have no father. He thought his father. He said his father died.
I think he was saying that because he knew who his father was. He didn't want to take that last name or whatever. I think he knew who he was. I don't remember per se. You guys might be right. But the way I remember it was he knew who his father was. He just didn't want to claim him because he felt like his dad wasn't ever there for him or something like that. But maybe I might be wrong though.
You got it right, but it said that's the end part. But I think at the beginning he didn't know. He was a kid.
Okay,
that flashback, he doesn't know.
Okay.
But then he died.
Cool.
You got to think about it. Because what? Let me see. Rocky 4 was 1985.
He wasn't even alive when he was born. He never knew him.
Yeah.
Basically.
So that's why he would say he didn't know he didn't know who his father, real father, all this like shit. So anyway, I thought it was a great idea to do this because it was to keep it going. And then I was just looking at the stuff. Rocky don't have any writing credits or directing credits or anything on this. So this was all Ryan Coogler and another guy who put together the story. So what I did like about it was when when he got it in his head that he wanted to be a boxer, he goes to Rocky. And the very first time he met Rocky, he called Rocky right off the rip. Like, it was immediately. Like, I think that he knew, like, how tight him and Apollo was, to where he was just like, if y'all was this tight, if he would have never died, like, you probably would have been like that uncle type figure to me type thing. So and then he also was searching for that father figure type of guy at the same time. But then you throw in the twist of Rocky don't have his son, Rocky don't have Adrian, Rocky really just rotting away, but then the dude turned out to have fucking cancer. And so then fucking Adonis Johnson is trying to prepare for a fight, also being there with Rocky, going to Rocky through his fucking chemo treatment. But he had to talk him into taking his chemo treatments and all this type of stuff. So I thought that the storyline that they added to this made it also gave you that Rocky feel, because it's like Rocky's still battling through adversity, but at the same time, Adonis Johnson is going through adversity too, because he's like, okay, now I got to take up this Creed name. I have to help Rocky through what he's going through. Like, there's like a whole lot of human element stuff to go along with this Creed movie.
Yeah, man. Not only does this movie kind of show you the human element, but it also shows you the business side of it too. We actually get to see the up and comings of a rising star in boxing. You know, right now, I've actually caught myself watching boxing more than ever, because there's so many, you know what I'm saying, up and coming stars with, you know, guys like Devin Haney. You got guys like Terrence Bud Crawford. You got guys like Errol Spence, Devontae Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a lot of guys coming up right now. Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these guys right now in boxing that, in a sense, kind of remind me of that Creed story. Like, these are guys that have been, you know, fighting their way through it and basically have gotten to the point to where they are technically the cream of the crop. You know, and then you get to see basically another rags to riches story, but you don't see it from Rocky this time. You get to see it from Apollo's son, Creed Jr., I guess you can call it. Well, no, it's not Creed Jr., it's Adonis. So you get to see Adonis just basically rise to the ranks. And then not only that, you know, you also get to see him basically going through his own love story with him finding this girl, and, you know, basically trying to, I guess you could say, woo her, and then, you know, so at the same time, still have this boxing career, or this budding boxing career. And, you know what I'm saying, he finally gets his chance to show what he's got. And just like in the first Rocky, you know, we get another moral victory. We get a guy who, he gets in the ring. He's really not qualified to really be in the ring, honestly, but he gives it everything he's got, and then, you know, he takes it the distance, and he garners respect to be one of the guys that's, you know what I'm saying, basically supposed to be up there with the rest of them.
I mean, y'all done pretty much hit something, but y'all missed out a major element. And I'm gonna put y'all on. As soon as I say it, y'all gonna be mad because it's something y'all missed. But we're not really talking about the element of him getting his ass knocked out for them keys. Nobody's talking about that. His first shot wasn't to Rocky. His first shot was to Wood Harris. He goes to Wood Harris and asks him, can to train him. He says, nah, you're not ready. And then he tells him, he's like, nah, put your Mustang up. He throws his Mustang in. He go up against my dog, Andre Ward. Andre Ward get in there, give him that work, knock him out right across the ear. He's knocked out cold. So then he has to go to, he has no option. So now he has to go to Philly, where he doesn't know anybody. He has to leave his mom, Dukes. He got to go to Philly and try to see if he can get Rocky to take him on. He pleads with Rocky. Rocky finally takes him on. Second part of this whole movie, when my man gets with Rocky, there's a part of this when he goes to the training facility and the guy realizes who he is. And right before the fight, he said he goes and stenches on him and says he's fighting he's Adonis Creed's son. And he's He's Creed. He's Apollo Creed, but he's Donnie. So he goes in, he snitches to make the fight bigger for his son, and then his son end up losing to him. So at the end of the day, it's a perfect setup for the next part. So then Pretty Ricky, you know what I'm saying? Pretty Ricky shows up. He gets in some trouble. He know he gonna get locked up. It's his last fight. You know what I'm saying? He gonna do that time. He gonna think he gonna get a layup. He think he about to get a layup with a big name. He gonna go out as an undisputed champ, right? He goes to this fight. And now, meantime, nobody's taking into consideration that he's training hard, but Rocky can't train him. So he take him to old buddy with the crazy hand. And he has to learn how to really fight technically because he doesn't really know how to technically fight. He's just fighting with power and passion. And that'll get your ass killed. So at the end of the day, he has to go learn not from Rocky about the fighting stuff. Rocky's his mentor. And that's why I like this movie, because it shows you more of the human element to me saying, I don't always know everything. I might be Rocky, but I don't know it. So I can't do the hands. I can't teach you the hands. I'm going to take you to somebody else. And he takes him down the road to North Philly, and he gets him the hands. So that's why I love this movie. I love the second one, but I definitely love the first one too. But y'all missed that Wood Harris part. That was a big part to
me.
Yeah. Wood Harris is little Duke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying earlier in the podcast, the fact of, like, you can't keep bringing, like, people back. Like, you've already done it with Little Duke. You know what I'm saying? You've done it with Apollo Creed. You done it with, once we get to the second one, you done it with Drago. So it's like, now we're going to bring Clobber Lane. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's getting to the point where it's just like we need to come up with new characters to keep this thing going, because I just feel like we just keep bringing reoccurring people that was in the Rocky movies. Because then you got to think about it. So what? Clobber Lane had a son when he was fucking 50 or something, and to be the same age as Adonis. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of gets to the point where it kind of gets crazy. But I mean, who knows? I mean, but like, I like the fact of when you think about this Creed movie, and like you said, Scooch, you brought that up. I forgot to mention that, like when he met, Tessa Thompson. What was the fucking name in this? I forgot what the hell it was. But like, again, she was Bianca, and she was dealing with what she was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Because she was trying to be a singer, and then she was. Was it this that she was deaf in one ear?
I forgot. She is a deaf singer. I'm sorry. That's funny.
She was going deaf. She was going deaf.
So it was just like that was a whole. You silly as hell, man. You silly as hell. But like saying, I like Creed.
There's so many fights that we got to go through.
Yeah, but Creed 2 is my favorite though. Out of these, because there's so much to go along with it. And then, like, that's when I was saying that we realized that Rocky didn't only fuck up, you know what I'm saying, Creed's life, and then not knowing that he really kind of fucked up. Now, this is the thing. I don't know if he really fucked up, because would he be able to still, like, be a father to Adonis, even though that was, you know what I'm saying, his mistress' child? You know what I'm saying? Would he still would have been a father to him? You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's something that we don't know. But then you also got to think about how he fucked up Drago. Like, because Drago took one L, and Russell stopped backing him. His wife left him. Then she didn't just leave. It was another fucking child, too. So, like, this is a dirty bitch. But it was just like, hey, man, I hated her character. And then I didn't like her anyway, man, because she went on Flavor of Love. And goddamn, she just, man, listen. Anybody that went
you thinking
New York,
you thinking of it ain't Flavor of Love. It's not Flavor of Love. You was thinking of shit.
You on the right track, but it wasn't Flavor of Love.
It's not. I mean, what is that show called?
It's the first.
It wasn't Flavor of Love. It was the show before that. That's what got Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like Real World or some shit like that.
Yep.
It was something crazy. Well, they had formed a relationship, and she was fucking nuts. And but she had ended up like man, that is so fucked up, man. He lose a fight and he lose everything. But his son was raw though, but like that dude, Creed, listen, when I first seen this movie, I went to the movies and seen it. I think it was Valentine's Day. I think it came out on Valentine's Day or some shit. And dude, I go in there and this motherfucker's fighting Drago within like the first like 10 minutes. You like, what the fuck? And I was like, I knew right then and there, like if he's fighting this dude that quick, he has to take an L. Like he got to take an L. And this motherfucker get disqualified. And the whole thing was Rocky. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I ain't ashamed to say it. When he was in that damn hospital bed, you know what I'm saying? After he got his ass whooped, and Rocky came in there, and he was like, he said, "What? You came to pick up the pieces?" And then he can look at him like, "Look at me." And this motherfucker, hey, this is the first time I think that because I know there's a lot of people that make fun of. Well, I know Joe Budden made fun of Michael B. Jordan's acting, and like in this scene, when he was in this bed, hey, but I'm telling you, boy, I shed a tear, but that shit was sad, boy. Michael B. Jordan sold that shit good, boy, because like he huh?
You cried?
Man, I shed one, man. I'm telling you, man, it was sad, man. I felt bad for him.
Hey,
I feel bad for him, man.
Michael B. Jordan, bro. Congrats to him. That's good.
Hey,
that means a lot.
He was being in that bed, but I'm telling you, but and it hurt me, but when he took that pick, but that blood came out, but I was like, ooh.
Hey man,
it was a really good movie. There's a lot of shit that goes. You got it.
Okay, this movie, man, is I don't think it's better than the first one. Just me personally, I enjoyed the first one a lot more, only because to me this was just like a rewrapped version of Rocky IV. But this was still, as far as the franchise go, this was still one of the good ones. This really wasn't a bad one. We got to dive a little bit more into Adonis's life. We got to see that, he was having a kid. We got to see, the ups and downs of his relationship with Bianca. We also got to see not necessarily the strain, but the strengthening of his relationship with Rocky. Also with his mom, with his stepmom, we got to see, Felicia Rashad as well. She did an amazing job in these movies. Let's give a kudos to her. But we got to see Michael B. Jordan do his thing, man. And another thing is they have, I don't know if it's on the deleted scenes on DVD or if it's on YouTube, but there's a deleted scene where Rocky and Drago actually fight again, but this scene is cut out of the movie. But it's somewhere on like YouTube or a deleted scene on a DVD where you can actually see it. And that's what engages the whole Drago and Creed fight to begin with. But it's so dope to be able to see them be able to tell the same story just in a different light for the next generation. It kind of reminds me of when they did the whole Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 when they brought the Star Wars back and they came out with a whole new Star Wars for the new generation. We had 4, 5, and 6 for everybody that was born from the 70s and 80s and 90s, and then they came out in the 2000s with 1, 2, and 3, and they kind of introduced you to those characters in a different way and reintroduced you to some other characters. I think that Creed does the same thing for the new generation. It introduces you to Apollo Creed in a weird way. It introduces you to Ivan Drago. It introduces you back to Rocky. It even introduces you to Mickey, because Mickey gets brought up in a couple of times in this movie. So, I mean, like we get to see not only some new characters, but we also get to see some homage to some older characters as well.
Yeah, I'm with y'all on that. And I don't have a whole lot of time left, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and I'm gonna let y'all get to y'all pod, finish it up. But so and for this movie, for Creed 2, man, One thing I don't think y'all really pointed out, and I want to hit y'all with this real quick, and I think y'all kick yourself again for not thinking about this. But he has a kid. He has a kid in this one. So he has to go through the process of bringing, Tessa Thompson to the crib, Bianca, the mom dudes. Like, I don't know if any of y'all moms like my mom, but my mom knew when my wife was pregnant, and she's like, oh, you can't smell, you can't do this. So he's getting that form of that motherhood that y'all get to see that he needs to kind of progress.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking he's coming to tell her about the fight, and she telling him about, oh well, now you got a baby to take care of. And so then that's the biggest fear for me as a father. I think I worry more about my children and how they're going to grow up. And if you have a child with any type of disability or any type of hindrance at all, like it's a different type of love. It's a different type of care you got to give that child that has any type of special need. And his daughter is born deaf. And, you can see the life kind of being sucked out of him when he realizes that. And then after he's already trying to pick up the pieces from being injured, he can't get his baby to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, she won't sleep. She's with dad. She won't sleep. He has to put her in the car, take her to the boxing gym or something. And, and then like, it just kind of brings it home for him. He's trying to quit boxing. He really wants to quit and give up. But in the same sense, she brings him back to the place that is supposed to be his comfort and his peace. And it's a real crazy thing, because in my mind, I know as a father, it always brings me back. That movie, and I'm like, that's the part that killed me when he found out his daughter had the hearing issue. Because when my son was first born, side note, he couldn't hear. My oldest, he couldn't hear out his ear, so we had that, and that's so different. It brings up a lot of emotion. And the one thing I would say about the Creeds and the Rockies is, like, we keep talking about the humanity in people and how it brings out the humanity. Like, these are things we all go through. Like, we all go through sickness. Cancer doesn't care about race, ethnicity, sex. It doesn't care about none of that. Cancer will take you, and then it'll just leave your family in shambles. And the same thing with any type of disability. If you're dealing with that or your children are sick, it's a different type of love. And for those parents that have to deal with that, any type of disability with a child, you have to be built for that. That's an adversity in itself. So when you start seeing him battle that, and then goes and trains harder than he's ever trained before, and get ready for this fight to initially take down a very formidable opponent that really I don't think in real life he would have beat. But you know what I'm saying? It definitely puts a stamp on that franchise. And I think, to me personally, Creed 2 is definitely my favorite movie of the Rockies altogether. Just because it speaks to me as a black man. I'm gonna be real. It speaks to me as a black man. I like to see the black dude win.
Word.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna hold you guys. Thank you guys for having me, man. For real. I'm sorry I gotta run. I gotta go over to NBC.
There you go.
Oh, no doubt.
But I appreciate everything.
Before you go, give us your top 3 Rockies and tell everybody where they can find you.
All right, top 3 Rockies. So they can be Creed 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Creed 2 is my favorite. I'm gonna rank that number 1. Number 2 is Rocky 3, and then Rocky 2 is my third. But then they can fall how they want to fall after that. And guys, I'm on so I just started a new partnership with Heat Ratio Sports. I'm actually a sports guy. They let me come on to talk about movies today, but I'm actually a sports guy. You guys can follow me on Instagram at the real Culture Connoisseur on Instagram. I'm also on all your anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm on there on the Culture Connoisseur. And I'll be starting a new venture with Heat Ratio Sports here in about a week. It's affiliated with NBC Philadelphia, so you guys will be seeing me on there as well.
For sure, man. Thanks for coming on again, man.
For sure. What you saying, Sean?
Oh, I was just saying I appreciate you coming on, man. Like that. This was a treat for real, man. I'm glad you was able to make it.
For sure, man. Anytime y'all want me to go over another movie, man, let me know. I can do my little homework. I like watching movies. I need something.
Oh well, you was ready for the next one already, so
yeah.
I'm saying? So that's the one we're gonna put that one in the bag as well.
All right, man. I'll see y'all, man. Y'all take it easy. Everybody be blessed and happy 2021.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year.
So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jamar, man. That was super dope for him to join us, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we got through all of them, you know. We finally at the end. Real quick before we get into ranking these joints, I just wanted to throw this fun fact out there, right?
Okay.
Rocky is 57. He's 57, 23, and 1. And 45 of those 57 wins are by knockout.
That's what I'm saying. I said he don't win any by decision, didn't I? Hey.
That is hilarious, man. That is hilarious. So for anybody wondering, man, his record is 57, 23, and 1. 45 of those wins are by knockout.
Hey, I am not surprised, boy. Not one bit. So who going first, man? On the thing, on the list of the Rockies. We doing all of them?
I'll jump out first, man. Now we just gonna do the top 3, bro. We're gonna do our top 3s.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Rocky 3, which would be my number 1. I'm gonna go from 1 to 3. You can go however you choose, but I'm gonna do number 1 to 3. Rocky 3 would be my number 1. It'll be Creed, the first Creed, to be my number 2, and I hate it, you know what I'm saying, to see them do my guy like this, but I'm gonna go Rocky 4 as my number 3.
Okay. I got I'm gonna go 1 to 3 as well, man. I got Creed 2. I got to go with Jamal on that one. That was really one of my favorite ones. Then I'm gonna go. Man, that's tough because I want. You know what? I'm gonna go Rocky 3, and then I'm gonna go. I hate to say it, but I gotta go 4 as well, man. I gotta go Rocky 4 as well. So I got Creed 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4.
Yeah, man. I mean, you really can't go wrong picking whichever one. You know what I'm saying? You know, these movies had a list of stars, man. They had Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Dolph Lundgren, Antonio Tarver. I forgot what Tommy Gunn's real name is, but he's an actual boxer as well. You got Carl Weathers. You got Michael B. Jordan. Who else was in these joints?
Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson, Felicia Rashad. I mean, it's just you got so many. There's just so many different people, man, and it was just, you know what I'm saying. It was nice to see all of this come together and be this kind of franchise that it was. And then, you know what I'm saying, once I found out about the Mr. T story, I was definitely in on it too. So, yeah, man, you got anything else to say about the Rocky franchise?
Nah, that's all I got for it, man. You know, all I gotta say is that it was great to have you know what I'm saying, a third wheel along with us. You know what I'm saying? That he put out some stuff that, you know what I'm saying, that we not that we forgot. Like, I was just really kind of trying not to talk too much, all that type of stuff. But you know, but he brought in some very, very, very good points, man. But so everything that I had, he filled it in, man. He filled it in.
Yeah, man, that was dope to have him on, man. And it's you know what I'm saying, you shouted him out before on the podcast about him going on to, you know what I'm saying, his next venture. And it's good to see that, you know what I'm saying, he's continuing that thing, man. And now, you know, it's something that's actually coming into fruition. Because at first you said it was something that was looking at him for. And, you know what I'm saying, now we know that, you know what I'm saying, it's something that he's actually going to. So that's dope, man. And it's good to see that, you know what I'm saying, you was, you know what I'm saying, inspiration beyond some of that, and that's fire, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's good to, know that people, you know what I'm saying, actually out here, you know what I'm saying, taking some notes and and actually, you know what I'm saying, gaining some stuff from us, and we actually sharing and building the community that way. That's that's fire, man. I like that. But this next one we got, bro, is who what you think about this next one, man? This one is pretty much down our lane. This is a football joint. You know what I'm saying? This is one
Yeah,
of those
man.
ones that it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun. It's gonna be, it's gonna be steaming hot, man. It's gonna be a steaming hot episode, man. it's go.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Hey,
That was
it's
tough.
go. Yeah, man. It's gonna be steaming hot, man, and
For sure.
and it's gonna be something really fun to do, man, because it's a star packed movie, man. Like once we get there and start going down the names of the people that was in it, a lot of people, recognizable people in this movie, man. So I'm very excited to do this joint.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, man. It's gonna be one of those ones to where you gotta sit back and you might have to rewatch this one after you hear this next episode, just because this is one of those movies that is just worth it, man. I already know where I'm giving the Fire Flames. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This one of those ones. So you know what I'm saying? I already know how this is gonna go down, man. But you guys stay tuned. Make sure you tune in to the next episode, man. It'll definitely be one for the books. We are gonna enjoy ourselves on this one. But once again, you already know, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. We definitely appreciate it. If you guys want to get in contact with me, you can follow me on Twitter at Scoots Bronson. You can follow me on Instagram at ScootsBronson_TV. And you can check out my last episode of 15 Minutes of Fame, the podcast featuring S. Foster. You know what I'm saying? We got into some casual conversation, and it ended up being one of the best pods I've ever done on 15 Minutes of Fame. So go check that out. Make sure you subscribe. And also, last but not least, make sure you go to the VA Pod Watch Group on Facebook. Make sure you send that invite, or add yourself, send that invite so we can accept you. We're trying to build up that community, man. We're trying to do some big things. We want to have a nice little base before we start rolling in and rolling out the other stuff we got planned for this year, man.
Yes, sir, man. And just go follow the Stolen Time Podcast on all major platforms and 28 Minutes or Less podcast. That's also on all major platforms. S.I. Foster 8 on Instagram and the Stolen Time Podcast page on Facebook. Also, the Stolen Time Pod on Instagram.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. You already know, like they say in the movies, man, it's a wrap.
Good.